Max, welcome to ONAIRalo.
Pleasure.
See the play on the words? ONAIRalo.
Sorry?
ONAIRalo.
ONAIRalo.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Air?
ONAIRalo. Nice.
It's nice, right?
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you on the podcast and we're happy to see you here in Dubai. We were just talking before starting about your trip.
Yeah.
That's your second trip, but really your trips were like in a span of a month,
the
right?
first trip was also long. It was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So it really took...
You know, I was asking you, did you see anything? Did you experience anything? And your answer was yes, through filming. So a really good question came to my mind, which is how much does it affect your real life experiences when you have to film all the time? Like when you experience through filming, is it the same as experiencing, you know, and taking it all in? Do you feel it affects your life experiences? Having to film all the time?
Oh, what a question. Okay, so I'd like to challenge the real life element a little bit before answering the question. If you remember yesterday when, let's say when Bassem was on or when Kabi was on before speaking, both of them are awesome. And when they come out, people pull out their phones. Yes. Everybody, every single person, every single person.
That's true.
So to me, this behavior kind of seems to suggest that life is more real than this one, right? In a way.
Okay.
But from my perspective, it's like I enjoy making videos, right? So this is what I enjoy doing, like in my life. So I don't really see that as a separation.
Okay.
And I also don't have my whole life on my channel. Yeah. So like I have a personal life, for example, my home, like my flat is never on the channel.
Never, yes.
My family, very rarely. My girlfriend also very rarely. So like I already have that. I'm not like
this is how you were able to maintain some, you know, some sense of like, this is for me.
Yeah, this is for me. And then when it's about businesses, careers, brands, and social causes.
I love your bio, actually. It's so specific. Like I make videos about careers and brands and social issues.
I think it's too long. I was looking at it this morning. Like, it's too long.
It's so good because it's like, this is what you get here, you know? And it's so true.
Yeah.
Why did you, like, how did you decide to go this way, like to make this type of content?
Okay, so I think it's kind of like with the bio manifesting and also trying to keep myself in check, because like the number of times people in my life say, Max, you should make a video about this is like hundreds a day.
Really?
Okay, so like everyone's like, oh, there's this interesting thing, you should make a video about this.
That was before or after you started?
Before.
Okay.
And well, after I started and before I started too. And it's like, I just want to give myself some kind of limitations. So like, I just want to pick things I make videos about and just activate my brain to look for them. You know, it's like kind of once you learn like a new word, you instantly start seeing it everywhere. So I want to tell my brain, look, we're looking for ideas about this stuff. Okay. But then when I find something interesting, I would still kind of make a video about it. My journey was that I moved from Ukraine to the UK when I was 16.
Right?
To study at a school. And then I went to university, to law school. And then I proceeded to get 4 university degrees along with work. And I couldn't
That's so impressive, actually.
Yeah.
What are they?
Law, economics, business, and sociology. Inequalities. Yeah, so it's like a whole package. But I couldn't get a job in London. I was I had a job which was selling tennis rackets.
You're Ukrainian?
No, I don't think so. So I was selling tennis rackets.
You're not British, or
I'm not British.
Because I hear it's hard there to get a job if you're not British.
Yeah, but like people do it.
Yeah.
And you know, I felt like I had a good profile. I was selling tennis rackets at Wimbledon at the time, which was still one of my favorite jobs.
Yeah.
It was minimum wage, but like the satisfaction of like selling someone a tennis racket and like helping them choose, and they go like, can't wait to play. Thank you, Max.
Oh.
You know, it's so cool. Anyways, but I was applying to like law firms, big consultancy firms, and I have still emails and emails of rejections. So I had more than 1,000 rejections when I was applying for jobs. That was throughout a year. I was rejected from Amazon 4 years in a row. And the last stage of the interview, I got to the last stage 4 years in a row. I got rejected for the same position. And I have all the emails, I have all the receipts.
Do they ever say why?
They always give a different explanation to how I answered the questions. But I would just be like, okay, I'll see you next year. And then they're like, well, here you go again. But like, it's a no again. And then I kind of found a different way to get into corporate consultancy and advertising through networking, which is my strength compared to online applications. That is not my strength. And I became really fascinated by how people get jobs, what they do for a living. And through my kind of disappointment with the career in corporate and started my own advertising agency, I was just like, I was chasing this dream of like some kind of corporate executive role that wasn't mine, and I don't even know where it came from. Yet so many people just kind of do things that they just fall into.
Yeah.
And then you're locked in, and then it's so hard to leave. But I was like, so I'm just gonna make content like just telling, here are all the options. Here is a professional cuddlist. Here is a pet psychic.
So
here is a
random.
person who laughs for a living. Here is a person who's like, here's a hedge fund manager. That's also an option. Like, here is someone else, you know? And here's all different kinds of like money that they make. So I don't know, kind of, I have pretty high self-esteem and confidence. And the only thing that kind of shook it maybe 5 years ago was that like the number of rejections from jobs.
But you know, something caught my attention when you were telling the story, which is you were rejected 1,000 times and 4 times from Amazon, and you still applied the second year. This persistence, I think this is what kind of one of the things that made you who you are right now, or got you here. Because when you talk about social media, and a lot of people I meet say, oh, I'm trying and it's not working, blah, 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 you know, like it's not easy. They don't understand maybe that you need to really be persistent, and you really need to do it over and over and over without getting disappointed that it's not working. Do you feel this helped you?
Maybe, but also like being persistent at the wrong thing
is wrong.
Is not a good idea.
Yes.
Like, it's good to exercise.
So how
that
do you know
muscle.
if you have to keep on persisting? Or...
Yeah, so that's something that I'm like working on right now. So in terms of my content, I started when I was at university. I started with a podcast called Max Talks AI about artificial intelligence. That was 6 years ago or 7. And then I just shared something on TikTok for my sister, who was 13 at the time, to watch. Some she was addicted to TikTok.
Okay.
And I was like, the content there is trash. So like, I'm gonna make something, and then for people like her to watch on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because I was like, on YouTube there's so much. I mean, I do both now.
Yeah.
But so it kind of, and she said that I was too old at the time.
Too old for TikTok.
Too old, too boring, and like it's not gonna work.
Oh.
So it was like a sibling.
Even you.
It was like a
Little
sibling
sister.
thing.
Yeah.
Like okay, like it's gonna work, you know. And now like 3 billion views later, you know. No, I'm joking. And also my sister is like the biggest test if my content's good or not.
She's the focus group,
She's
right?
young. Her attention span sucks. She's like, it takes her like so much effort to watch a video. So if she's like, this video was actually better than the rest, I'm like, this was the best video of all time. So yeah, I think in terms of like how to know when to persist, I'm looking for that answer right now. And I'm thinking about like how to help people at scale. Because I feel like at the individual level, you can kind of discuss things.
Their
and then
interests,
maybe
strength.
help someone. But then there is also life circumstances. I think there is like this is like a really big,
So hard.
really, really big conversation.
Yeah. Maybe finding that equation, if it exists, of knowing like this plus this plus this equals this. This is what you should
Maybe.
do.
But
I don't know.
You know, also the thing with me is like I enjoyed everything I did, kind of. Like I didn't feel that it was like my absolute passion, for example, to work in consultancy. But like I liked selling tennis rackets. I liked being a bartender. I liked working in consultancy. I liked working in advertising. I liked running my advertising agency. But I love making videos, you know? And it's like...
That's your passion.
That's something. Yeah. That's something. But it's not necessarily for everyone.
No, of course
You know what
not.
I mean? You just have to kind of think
Nothing
about
Max is for everyone. Like,
well, unless it's like water.
yeah, I mean
know.
jobs or
Yeah,
passions
jobs
or...
wise, yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's no one answer fits all, obviously. Otherwise, we would all know what we want to do, you know, at 18.
I think so.
Which is so weird, you know. I always think at 18, how are you supposed to figure out the rest of your life at 18? It's such a hard thing to do, like decide what you want to study, etc., etc. Like, you're too, I don't want to say dumb, like me at 18, I think I was, like, I wasn't responsible enough to be responsible for my own life. But yeah, I hope you can find an answer that would help everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Some people get lucky, stumbling upon their passion, or they're talented. And when you're talented, like, you know.
Maybe. I mean, people say, and this has kind of been true for me, and I'm also like, we took this direction. I'm not pretending to be like a career choice expert at all.
You're experimenting.
It's just
and
something
exploring.
that, like, right now is something that I'm really passionate about helping figure out.
Yeah.
And it's like right now. Next month it can be something else.
Okay.
You know? But for me, a lot of people say that you should look back into your early teenage years.
Okay.
And when I was a teenager, I was doing comedy.
Doing comedy meaning
Doing
where?
comedy in Ukraine.
Yeah. How?
On stage.
Really?
Yes, my idol was the current President Zelensky
Okay.
as a comedian at the time. But I wanted to go into politics.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I shouldn't keep doing comedy
Yeah.
because I want to go into politics in the future. That was
Doesn't
like
make
my childhood dream.
Yeah.
And then I look at him now, you know? So I think if I look into my childhood or teenage years, I can see this like combination of like, I wanted to tell people stuff. I wanted to
Influence.
maybe perform.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it. I have no sense of like, I don't know how to be shy or like, I don't know, scared of like public crowds.
Okay.
Like I don't really have that at all. So I haven't been using this skill set because I moved to the UK and I thought, okay, now it's time to be serious. I have to be a serious person, like in a suit, like, you know what I mean? Deal with people. This is
Because
a
we
big
were
company.
taught this is the way to go. Like this is how you become
Exactly, but
important
it's not.
in life.
It's actually not, like not at all. Like some of the most successful people I've met are like so in tune with like who they are. And I think in terms of success, like the journey of like becoming the closest version to your like true self. I sound so like woo-woo. I sound so like woo. No, but like actually, like the closest you can get to like who you actually are in your professional life, that is really real gold. Maybe you can't be 100%. Like if you have some weird habits of like, I don't know, burping or something, like maybe you shouldn't do it like
Burper.
all the time, you know? But yeah, I've seen very successful people act very silly on calls and like on Zoom and like in person because this is just who they are.
Yeah.
And it's cool because then you can focus on other things.
I think things are changing, you know?
I think so.
We're not, like, we used to be taught to take ourselves very seriously. At 18, you had to figure out what you want. And there was, you know, prestigious jobs like being a lawyer or a doctor or, you know, for all of us, or an architect. Like, and if you're not doing that, you're like wasting your life or...
But you know, on the opposite side...
This is how they used to see it, but this is not the case anymore.
Maybe, but now we have a different problem.
What?
Okay, you want to know the problem? So, if you go online and you're young, you will soon find out that unless you own a business, you are basically a loser.
Yeah.
Especially for guys, because there are so many of these like influencers, business influencers that are like, own a business, own your freedom, be your own boss.
Your own boss.
All of that stuff. And this is like, none of the people who have built companies that are like in S&P 500 or Fortune, none of them are saying it. It's always a person with a e-commerce business, dropshipping business, some kind of a agency, Facebook marketing agency. So like small.
So why is this happening? Why is this the trend?
I mean, some of these people are selling you the dream of like being your own boss, then they get paid, they do courses. That's one way. Some people, I know some people who are genuinely good entrepreneurs and they're convinced that this is the way to go. But if you look at the numbers, for example, would you say it's easier to start a business now than it was 40 years ago?
No, just one startup out of 10 makes it. One out of 10.
Even worse, but throughout...
These are the numbers. Like if you're 9 times more likely to fail if you start a startup.
Exactly. And if we look at like modern history, with all of the pendulums of the economy, the percentage of entrepreneurs doesn't change. It stays at like 5 to 7%. It stays there. You know, so it's like thinking that education is what's preventing people from starting a business. That's not true.
No.
And I think also that like I've met a lot of people who work in advertising who get paid 1 million a year, 2 million a year, 3 million a year, and have a very interesting job and are very fulfilled. And I've met a lot of people who do something that is very like the fact that people think that doing drop shipping is something to someone who does dropshipping is someone to admire, or something to aspire to do. I think is broken, because this is inherently. I don't believe anyone is actually interested in dropship. No one when they're kids, before watching any content, would be like, dropshipping, mom, this is something that I really like. It's not true. Yet people think that if you don't have a business, you are a loser, and then if you have a dropshipping business,
it's
somehow
glorified.
It's like
over glorified.
Yeah, so it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. If you look at the lifetime outcomes of entrepreneurs, they actually make less in their life than a person with like an average job, because so many of them go broke, and we just don't talk about this.
And even, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but they don't understand what it takes, because it takes much more time than a 9-to-5 job, or a traditional kind of a job, because they're always working. They're doing so many roles, especially if you're the founder and you're starting with a startup. Like, you have to do everything. You
I think so.
Even when you're sleeping, you're thinking. So it kind of, I feel, takes a big toll on your life, because I've had people around me start businesses, and I know how it felt.
And it can work. Like, also, I started an advertising. I quit my job to start an advertising agency that has been very successful, right? So when I say this, then it's like, but you did it. So why are you telling other people not to do it? That's not at all what I'm saying. I'd love to talk about business, branding, help people start businesses, like 100%. My problem right now online is that 99% of content is about entrepreneurship. 1% is about career success, yet 93% of people work for hire, while 7% start their businesses. So it's like, what's going on with like this discrepancy that is like completely, it doesn't represent society. And in addition, the businesses that are popular are like dropshipping, Amazon FBA. Again, no hate to Amazon. That's not a client, by the way. But yeah, I just this like system of like dreams and like what you want to do and like where your strengths are, I think is so warped by the internet that I feel like even though I am partially guilty of this, I have to push back and like be like, you don't have to be number one person, and there is no crazy glory of like being the founder. It's mostly just pain.